new vehicle prices are insane. No normal person could ever afford a Lucid Air or a BMW iX, but you don't have to be a trust fund baby or a corporate vice president to own a nice new ride. The 2023 Kia Niro EV proves that phenomenal electric vehicles do not have to cost a fortune. Think of this battery-powered crossover as a less stylish alternative to the superb but spendy Kia EV6. A more mass-market offering, the Niro EV sacrifices a bit of range and charging performance to help keep the price tag low. Accordingly, this Kia competes with other entry-level electric vehicles like the Chevy Bolt EUV and Nissan Leaf Hatchback, products with their own advantages and disadvantages. Now, I have full video reviews of both those vehicles, so make sure to watch them. An engineering flex, Kia offers 3 versions of the Niro. There's a conventional hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and of course, a pure electric. The Niro EV is offered in 2 trims. There's base wind and up-level wave. Naturally, we're testing the higher-end model in this video, though the vehicle starts at less than $41,000 including delivery fees, which is a steal these days. So the new Niro, it's more angular and I think upscale looking than the previous generation model. And right up front you can see we have a reinterpreted version of the Kia brand's signature tiger nose grille where it sort of pinches in here at the middle. Although it is debatable whether this is actually a grille because it's hard plastic. Obviously, electric vehicles don't have the same cooling requirements as combustion-powered ones, so this is all filled in. But whatever you call it, it's flanked by a pair of lovely combination lamp assemblies. We have the turn signals and DRLs, as well as the high and low beam elements, all in one housing. Moving back toward the center, under this door, we have the charging port, and I absolutely love the location of this because you don't have to remember what side it's on. You just pull into the bay and plug in, you're good to go. Underneath here, we also have a standard CCS outlet, though I do not like these little caps they have, these plug-ins. I would much rather have doors with hinges. They're much easier to use. These are kind of fiddly, but again, this is a lower cost EV, so you can't have it all. Now, under the hood, I want to show you something right here. There is a storage cubby. It's very small. It'll hold probably the level 1 charging cable, and that's about it. But my question for you is this: what do you call this? Is it a storage cubby, or does it qualify as a frunk, a front trunk? To me, it's too small. I think it's just a cubby, but what do you think? Is this big enough to be considered a frunk? Let us know in the comments down below. Moving along the side of the Niro here, we have some 17-inch wheels. They are not the most stylish rollers you will ever see, but they fit the purpose of this vehicle very nicely. Modern wheel sizes are out of control, so I appreciate that they only went with 17s on here because that gives you additional tire sidewall for a smoother ride, and then that sidewall will also help protect the wheels if you hit big potholes. So long-term, with wheels, I think smaller is much better. Now, hybrid and plug-in hybrid versions of the Niro should come with black trim around the wheels and on the side of the body, though as you can see here with the EV, we have a steel gray color that goes very well with the optional snow white pearl paint job. Now, normally I hate white vehicles because I happen to think they look like plumber vans, but this actually looks quite nice. It's got some sparkle to it, and it goes well with the gray and these satin accents up here on the door handles. Moving rearward, we have more gray here on this applique, which of course adds some visual interest and helps break up the profile of the vehicle. But this is also a functional element. It's hard to see, but air can actually flow underneath here to make the Niro just a little bit slipperier. And Kia says this vehicle has a coefficient of drag of 0.29, so it's really pretty sleek. We also have some lovely boomerang-shaped tail lamps that sort of run along the side of that sail panel. And then moving to the rear, very cleanly styled back end. I like what they've done here. And then of course, sort of a skid plate applique here at the bottom of the bumper, though of course, an off-roader the Kia Niro EV is not. So that's a very quick look at the exterior of this vehicle. Let's hop inside because there's a lot of great stuff to talk about. The Niro is not a fancy vehicle, but its interior is still super nice, and it proves that you do not have to spend a fortune to get something that is good. This cabin is stylish and modern. All of the switchgear feels fantastic, and there's a real sense of precision. Everything fits together tightly and is beautifully built. Burnishing this car's green credentials, the Niro interior is loaded with eco-friendly materials. The headliner is actually made out of recycled wallpaper, of all things. These seats are covered in a biopolyurethane, while others feature a fabric that's made from eucalyptus leaves. The paints in this cabin are also BTX-free, so they contain no benzene, toluene, or xylene. And aside from the somewhat coarse headliner and the piano black trim, which you know I hate because of fingerprints, scratches, and dust, aside from those two things, nothing in this cabin feels cheap or flimsy. As for comfort, these front buckets are supportive and very comfortable, plus they are heated and ventilated in this model, and we have a memory function here on the driver's side. In the back, there's tons of headroom and legroom for 6-footers like me, no trouble fitting. Plus, there's a 120-volt household outlet that provides up to 16 amps of power, so you can run all kinds of accessories, though the Niro EV also supports Kia's V2L, or vehicle-to-load adapter, just like the EV6, so you can run all kinds of accessories outside the vehicle. Hey, were you just about to leave a comment about why EVs suck and will never catch on? Well, if you want to live in the past, have I got news for you. Check out our Outdated Outrage bumper sticker series over at shop.evpulse.com. Are you still pissed about the teapot dome scandal? I know I am. What about these newfangled motor cars? They're never gonna catch on. Horses for life. And then the Lindbergh baby. Have you spotted him? I thought I saw him once. Wish I could have gotten a picture, but I didn't. Anyway, that's shop.evpulse.com to buy all of our great Outdated Outrage bumper stickers. Niro EVs come standard with a pair of 10.25-inch displays on the dashboard. One for the instrument cluster, another for the infotainment system. Now, no, these are not the most impressive panels you've ever seen, but trust me, they are perfectly fine. In the center here, we have a familiar infotainment system that is very intuitive and responsive, so nothing to complain about there. And of course, it does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, though make sure you bring a cable because neither of those smartphone mirroring systems can connect to the infotainment system wirelessly, even though the Niro does offer a wireless charging pad, so figure that one out. This Niro also comes with a beautiful head-up display. There's a multimodal panel here on the dashboard for the audio system and climate controls, exactly like you get in the fancier EV6. This does take a little bit of getting used to, but it is a brilliant use of space. We have plenty of USB ports in this vehicle, some on the dashboard here, plus a couple in the backrests for rear seat passengers. Plus, the Niro is even available with a heat pump in the HVAC system to help improve the range in cold weather. So even though this is a lower-end EV, as I keep calling it, you're really not giving up many features. Now, this Kia also comes with plenty of advanced driver aids. There's lane keeping assist, blind spot collision warning, rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control with stop and go capability, and so much more. Basically, all of the modern amenities you would expect. As for technical details, on board we have a 64.8 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, and that provides an EPA estimated range of 253 miles. Now, normally, we like to see 300 miles on a charge because that gives you a little bit of extra breathing room if the weather is cold, or maybe you're on a road trip and one of the DC fast chargers is down, you like a little bit of extra range. But still, 253 miles ain't a bad number, and it helps this Niro edge out the Chevy Bolt EUV and even the Nissan Leaf. As I mentioned earlier, charging performance is not great in the Niro EV. It tops out at just 85 kilowatts. In comparison, the swankier looking EV6 will do about 235, so it is way quicker than this thing. Still, Kia says the Niro EV can go from 10 to 80% in less than 45 minutes, which is an okay performance. If memory serves, the EV6 will do that, however, in just 18 minutes, so much quicker there. This vehicle, of course, can also level to AC charge. It tops out at 11 kilowatts, and according to the automaker, that should take about 7 hours to replenish the battery. A single electric motor drives the front wheels and provides 201 horsepower and just 188 pound-feet of torque. And those figures do sound pretty lackluster, but the 0 to 60 time is around 7.1 seconds, which is entirely respectable, though I do have to say, in everyday driving, the Niro EV feels a good bit quicker than that. This thing has a surprising amount of hustle. This Kia also has a lovely ride. It's very composed and there's almost no bouncing around over road undulations. The interior remains reasonably quiet at highway speeds, and the steering is nicely weighted and surprisingly crisp, though of course a little bit more road feel would always be appreciated. The brake pedal in this vehicle is wonderful, however. The transition from regenerative to friction braking is basically seamless, though of course, if you do have the iPedal mode engaged, that's Kia's branding for a one-pedal driving mode. If you're careful, you basically never have to touch the brake pedal. Wrapping things up, here's what the Kia Niro EV does well and what it could do better. You've got to love this all-electric crossover's high quality and eco-friendly interior. The performance is very good despite pretty uninspiring output numbers. The Niro EV offers loads of features, nearly all the modern amenities you'd expect. And the price, at least as modern vehicles go, is eminently affordable. Despite this being such a basic vehicle, and I'm making air quotes, the downsides are impressively few. This isn't an issue for me, but some of you probably can't live without wireless smartphone mirroring. The range could certainly be better, and DC fast charging, well, isn't, even if it's still better than a Bolt or Leaf. According to the window sticker, this up-level Wave model checks out for $47,790, including destination fees, which is right about where the Kia EV6 starts. As for options, we've got that gray exterior trim, the snow white pearl paint job, carpeted floor mats, and the Wave Preserve package, which gets you a heat pump in the HVAC system, as well as heated outboard rear seats. Now, unfortunately, since the Niro is assembled in South Korea, it is not eligible for any federal tax incentives, but if it were, well, this thing could be the deal of the century. If you're looking to go electric without going bankrupt, the Niro EV is a phenomenal choice, one that's available in all 50 states of the disunion. If you can live with its range and limited DC fast charging performance, this thing might even be a better option than some much pricier electrics that are out there. It's that good. Next up, watch my full review of the EV6 GT line by clicking right over here. If you're looking for a Kia EV that's fancier than the Niro, the EV6 is the way to go. It offers more range, sleeker styling, and of course it DC fast charges way quicker. So give that video a watch by clicking right over here.